see the raindrops on my door. Now see the clouds moving on the floor. To feel what you feel, to live how you live. I'll give it all. To see what you see, and you did all night. You did all night. To feel what you feel, to live how you live. I'll give it all. To see what you see, and you did all night.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another episode of Future Financial Strategies. What's up? What is good? Let me get up in here in the screen with y'all for a little bit. We got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of interesting things. So, first and foremost, shout out to everybody. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you're finding this stream, this video, and you are new, hit that subscribe. Stick around for a while if you like what you hear, because there's going to be plenty more of it. We have a live stream every Thursday, Guns and Butter, where we talk about this live. You can come in. It's an open conversation. We just have the conversation. Normally talking money, economics, macro politics, sometimes relationships. Depends on what you guys want to talk about in the chat. But every Thursday night, 7:30 Central Standard Time, I'm in the middle of the U.S., the Midwest, if you would. Definitely tap in with me there. It's a chance to pick my brain, ask questions live, give feedback, talk trash, crack jokes. We have fun on Guns and Butter. Let's get to business. Updates. My escrow on my mortgage got reallocated and redone, and it went up exactly $44, which is interesting because I get the privilege now to pay an extra $44 to subsidize the loans of the people who are not financially responsible and have bad credit but still want to buy homes because they feel they're entitled to buy homes without doing any of the work. Thanks, Joe Biden. Thank you. Which just goes in and leads into some of the topics that we're going to talk about today. We're doing the financial updates. There's financial updates. We're moving along with the portfolio. We are shifting our allocations for our savings, making some decisions that are in the medium short term with some of the moves that I want to make. So obviously, we're saving up for that second property. Things are starting to get bad. I'm kind of seriously looking a little bit more. I'm closing out my debt. I'm getting everything positioned to where we can start using the debt to purchase assets exclusively, and I will buy everything with cash. There's a new play that I'm running. I got a new daily driver card. Actually, I think we're going to do that too, because I don't want to just have like a doom and gloom episode. So we're going to do one of the strategies of what I'm looking at, which is interesting. But I'm going to go ahead and show this screen for you guys. We're going to make it nice and big up here next to me. Oh, a little bit bigger. Oh, even bigger. There we go. So these are just some of the news articles that we're looking at. Talking about home foreclosures are spiking. Oof. Now, me personally, a lot of people were talking about, oh, they told you not to buy. It was a bad idea to buy. It was terrible to buy. I'm actually going to pull this back up again so that way we can have the conversation. Okay, so I'm going to pull this page back up. I'm going to share this real quick. So while they were telling you not to buy, this is the average rent for 897 square feet, $1,700. We talked about this last episode. We're paying nowhere near that in this house. I'm going to go back to the main screen. So keep that in mind. So it was a bad idea to buy. Terrible idea. I bought at the beginning of the pandemic when everybody was saying don't buy, because that's when you buy. Literally, like whenever everybody's telling you not to do something, that's probably, I mean, in my experience, anecdotally, been always the best decision, is to go against the crowd. But the gurus are saying, don't buy real estate. It's a bad idea. Bad idea to buy real estate. I bought real estate. One of the things that is accurate, though, is when those interest rates were low, a lot of people bought more house. Low interest rate, you bought bigger houses. And now you're in a problem. Major problem. To me personally, I bought exactly what was necessary. I did not buy, my place is not a flex place. It is a place to live. I view houses as tools. I view money as tools. I view most things as tools. Some of them I prefer to have nicer than others. But from the housing situation, I was already renting. The rent was going to go up. I did not want to pay that rent. I wanted to secure what we were paying for rent. So I bought this place, and you know, it was a little bit of a hit financially, like not much. It was a little bit more than what we were paying in rent. But now that the averages come up, because that building now, I checked the rents over there, much higher now and climbing. So there's that. But for those of you who bought more house, I'm assuming you ended up in this foreclosure news. A lot of people are getting foreclosed on, which is crazy to me. Like, actually, it's not crazy to me, because the mortgage company, when I got my loan for this place, because I do utilize FHA loans. I'd rather have my cash. I'd rather have my 200% gains on Bitcoin. It just makes sense. You can argue semantics if everything is a tool and I'm not using it to increase my lifestyle or have lifestyle creep. I don't feel that there should be any tools off the table when it comes to building wealth and you're actually building it from scratch. I believe in using everything responsibly. So I definitely have an FHA mortgage. My next property that I'm going to buy when I convert this mortgage over will be an FHA mortgage. It just doesn't make sense not to me. Anyways, I have other places that I like to park the bulk of my cash versus using lump sums of it to put down on something that's only going to go up. I mean, granted, I have gotten good gains on this property, but it ain't done nowhere near performance-wise as Bitcoin. It has been a good hedge, though, because when Bitcoin's down, normally this property's up. It's kind of nice, but nowhere near the numbers. Now, if this place was doing about 100-something, 200%, I'd be trying to buy houses cash. But we're not in that level of hyperinflation. If your house goes up 100% just because you live there without doing any type of trying to flip it, then we are in a bad state of affairs. But I just wanted to read off some of these articles quickly. So the U.S. foreclosures on properties rise 22% in the first quarter. Oof, that's from back in April. So foreclosures have been rising on properties, and you know, people got to go back in the office. Jobs are going away. ChatGPT is actively taking jobs. They're not coming from my job yet. Not anywhere close. It's plus side of having a skill and being in a trade. They haven't made the computer that has these babies working as fine as mine do. So not worried about it. Also, you have a lot of the hotbeds. Specifically, Florida's in the news right now. Texas is in the news right now. California is in the news right now. And these rates, these people are living. And we had this conversation too about people feeling entitled to be in cities that they can't afford to be in. It's crazy. Like, I know people who went out to California that are just going to be broke and dusty the rest of their lives, and they're working 3 jobs to be broke, 3 side hustles. Everybody's side hustling out there. Everybody's got like an extra 3 jobs. Now I'm about to be back on 3 jobs myself, but it's so that I can buy more property. Like, I'm not doing it just to rent and be broke and then go on a trip or go on a bunch of trips. I mean, you see these people, they're like always traveling. And I'm like, yeah, like if it sucks to be in your house because you don't own it and you're broke, then like, yeah, I'd be traveling too all the time. I don't know. I'd rather own stuff. That's me. But when you see these foreclosures spiking, this was kind of starting to get what I'm waiting for. Like, I noticed that a couple of other units on my street are starting to pop up. I've seen like actually one of them, it's the whole chunk of buildings done popped up, and I'm looking at it, looking kind of waiting to see what those prices do, because the stuff is starting to sit on the market a little bit longer. Because like I regularly, one of the things I do when I do, instead of doom scrolling, I've tried to get out of that, and I'll just get on Zillow and just start looking at stuff, just see what's out there. And I'm starting to see a lot of stuff that's going up, that's staying up. As Cardi said, if it's up, then it's up, and it's up, then it's stuck. And like they're adjusting prices because the prices was too far up and they got stuck on the market. And it's pretty interesting. Like this is the easy money is drying up completely. We'll just put it that way. All the easy money, gone. Easy money's gone. Now what I'm looking for is either the prices are going down or the interest rate's going down. What would be interesting is if the prices and interest rate went down because the prices went up along with the interest rate, and the prices stayed up. And normally it's an inverse. If the interest rate goes up, prices come down. If the interest rate goes down, prices go up. This last through the pandemic deal, everything just went up. Like we inflated and the prices stayed up, which is pretty interesting. But I'm starting to notice in my local area, because I look all the time now, that stuff is kind of sitting out there on the market a little bit longer, specifically in the investment property space. And I think it's because like people are starting to get a little bit scared. Like if you don't already have somebody that you know has a job or that you know is going to do what's necessary to like keep it moving, then you're stuck with that property. Like if I was to move, like I have people who are already at my property because I chose to house hack. So the next property, I'm paying for that. I would actually have to like pay the mortgage, a little bit of it anyway. So I'd figure it out. I'd probably house hack it again. But these people are starting to kind of realize what's going on. Student loans are about to kick back in too, which is crazy. Now, I told you guys last week that I'm starting to chunk down my debt. Like I'm not using the float anymore. We're doing away with that because stuff's about to get tumultuous and I want money ready to deploy. I don't want to have debt sitting out there that I'm paying monthly to go on. I'd rather save that money at this point. So I'm going to share this next page with you. And so I'm sharing this next page with you to what are we doing? There we go. Oh geez. Okay, so I'm showing this next page. This is showing that everyone's scared that the student loans are coming back. And we're actually, while we're in here, let's look at the average American debt. Let's see what we're sitting at here. Credit card debt. Oh, hey, looks like some of you guys listen to me. Let's see what we got going on. Credit card debt has decreased by 24 billion during Q1 of 2023. People are listening. People are starting to get worried. I'm liking it. Everybody's shoring up. Everybody's holding their breath. Oh, this is interesting. The decrease in credit card debt during Q1 2023 was 66% larger than post the Great Recession average for the first quarter of the year. Interesting. Outstanding credit card debt decreased roughly 2.78% during Q1 compared to the previous quarter. Also interesting. So it looks like the trend is people are starting to get ready. Like this is how you know. Like when I say that I'm getting ready to get rid of the float, actively getting rid of the float. I got one card left. Actually, I didn't check how much that balance was. I think it's like maybe $1,000. We're paying it off in chunks, just kind of filtering it in because like I'm trying to save as much of that money pool that I had to move over into the grouping it up for the house. I'm also moving the savings out of Cash App and over to my Citibank brokerage because we're trying to get that next tier of banking on the road to the private banking strategy. So it's easier to consolidate everything into the brokerage over there because I do have the brokerage piece over on Citi. I'll be finishing out the last part of my savings. So I still have my $500 in cash that I keep in the savings there. I keep $100. And so I keep adding a little bit to it every time I pull money. So it's like at 130 of just like petty cash that's on my debit card that I could use if I needed to. And then everything else is in the market. But this last infusion will round out my cash savings, which that is going to be the bulk of that savings on top of the $500 cash. The goal for that was to have 3 shares of VOO because we want the bulk of our savings in the market, which S&P 500 kicks off a little dividend. Cool. Sit there, keep that money in the market. We save in the market. After that position's done, then it's all the savings money from my regular pullout to feed those positions is going into my first position, which is going to be, I'll share this page. Again, I've probably talked about this a few times. QYLD. That position has been started already. But I wanted to finish out. I need like a little bit of money to round out that third share because unfortunately on the big boy brokerages, you got to buy whole shares, which means that like you can't put in for instance, $1,000 and just have it be $1,000 and you get a fractional share of VOO. You have to save up and buy the whole share. Now this position is set up. It's going to be one of the bedrock stocks that's going to just be there to generate dividends. And then we'll use those dividends to buy into other positions. We love dividends. I love dividends. I don't necessarily have to say there's multiple ways to invest, but like this is an easy one for me. And also it's a covered call ETF. So you're getting some market action. Shout out to the options traders out there. And I wanted some of that action. And this pays monthly. The dividend is good on it. I believe it's 10 or 11%. So the goal is to build this position until it's kicking off $100 a month. Now, $100 a month, you throw that into the next position. Now you're getting $100 a month bonus to buy into other positions. This is the goal, and then just let it snowball. Unfortunately, in the traditional market, it's such a pain and such an arduous process, and it takes such a large amount of money to generate $100 a month. Now with crypto, not the same. We're not looking at the same bags to get $100 a month. Like this is such a slow process for me that like this is actually financially I'm very disciplined, but having been in the crypto market predominantly, not really even looking at my portfolio. I don't look at my Roth. I don't look at any of those things. Like every once in a while, I throw some money in the Roth. I look at it as a failure fund, but like this is getting me so much more financially patient because crypto is such a fast moving, fast paced deal that it's such a fast paced market that like there's always something going on. There's always places like I misplace money that I find years later and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I had $1,000 over there. Crazy. I better get that back into something that I'm actively using now. Like, and it snowballs faster, but like I feel that I've perfected that principle. So like I'm really interested to see if I can take, because originally when I got into crypto, I took all the stuff that I knew from traditional finance over into crypto, and I was like, oh, this is awesome, and it worked really well. Well, now some of the methodologies and the ideologies and the strategies that I've implemented in my crypto portfolio, which I am in love with and I enjoy and I have fun, I look at it every day. I'm getting ready to start implementing that and retooling my portfolios, my traditional financial portfolios. And so like I'm really interested. I'm really excited about it. But QYLD is going to be my first position. I've already started buying it. In my Roth, I've already converted that over. So like I have a bunch of shares of QYLD in that portfolio, generating money that I'm using to buy other positions. So that way I don't have to, I'm not worried about it so much. You know, you look in there at the beginning and the end of the month, there's a little bit of money in there, redeploy it, buy some more shares, let it stack up. Nothing to write home about, but like my Citibank portfolio, we're trying to get that up because it, once you have 30,000 collectively in holdings with them across your bank accounts. Like, I don't know what else counts towards that, but once it's at 30,000, you get private banking access. And so the next level to upgrade my bank account is 10,000. So they have like your standard, you're just a peon over there. You got to do all your stuff. And then there's a $10,000 threshold where they start looking at you, giving you some tools, giving you some additional services to help you build wealth. But then at 30,000, you're in the private. That's the intro to the private banking, and like the door's open. So we're trying to get there as soon as possible. But like, I want my traditional financial portfolio, because I'm not just going to put $30,000 in cash over there. That would be ridiculous. I'm not about to take that hit. So I'm just going to shift my brokerage over there because they have brokerage features. They have robo brokers. They also have what's the one that I'm using? It's just like your standard self-service. You buy your shares yourself. You manage the portfolio. They have that too. So I am super excited about that. We're going to be actively building out that portfolio. And yeah, that's what we're doing there. So we've covered doom and gloom. We're going to take the end of this and I'm going to share with you guys the play that I'm using, because I also have shifted out my credit card. And so the way that I run my stuff, well, the strategy that we're implementing is we are shifting it out to where the base and simplest way to put this is you have, like, I have quite a few credit cards. I've had credit cards since I was 20. So I have some really long credit history. I have access to a lot of credit. I do not use it normally after I paid off the debt initially, because I did use it. I used it too much and I was using it to finance my lifestyle. Long story short, you end up with $35,000 in credit card debt. And then if I wouldn't have got into crypto, I'd probably still be paying that off, honestly. I would still be in debt. So, because it was just so much of it. Like, next thing you know, like, you're out here buying stuff, living a life, thinking you're doing something. You look up and you got $30,000 in debt. And you don't know where you're at. Like, it's crazy. But we're not doing that anymore. And that was when I started really getting financially disciplined. I'm still not the best budgeter. I'm more of a disciplined person. Like, I have guide rails. And, I also have a separate set of rules for when we're in a recession versus when the money's flowing. So I guarantee you, doing this show, when we get into the crypto bull run, my floats, the credit I'll utilize will be totally different. it's going to be a different conversation because money's going to be flowing. It's going to be easy to pay stuff off. But the thing that I am doing and this strategy that I'm having is I'm trying to shift from utilizing the credit for a float to where I am self-funding that because I do have access to leverage my crypto at 0% interest. So I would rather take those 0% loans and pay those back over time than pay 20% interest, 15% interest using a credit card to fund things. So the strategy that we're implementing is I am trying to set my personal financial situation up to function very much like a bank does, which the way that banks generate wealth is debt. So since I have this wealth of credit that I can utilize, we're going to be looking at a bunch of different avenues to monetize that credit, which is basically I get a lot of offers for 0% interest for personal loans, low interest personal loans, balance transfer loans that I can turn into cash, use that cash to buy assets, and then pay that back at low to 0%. You get to keep the asset, you pay them back out of cash, but also shifting from funding anything that I'm buying personally. I want that to come out of my cash. I want any credit that I'm utilizing that's floating, that I'm servicing, to be used to buy assets. Unfortunately, I do have a lot of credit. We're not going to go swinging for the fences on that, but like, you know, starting to use those balance transfer checks to buy assets versus transferring balances, because I won't have a balance anymore probably after the my first paycheck next month. I won't have any more balances. That'll be my last transfer over for sure, because I think I'm 80% sure I overpaid my credit card, so it's ahead of schedule now. So what I wanted to do was, if I'm going to have one credit card in my pocket, because I don't believe in just paying cash for stuff at the store. Like, I don't want to pay cash for a pack of gum. I don't want to go out and eat and pay cash. You put those on credit cards to get the points. You just pay the credit card off at the end of the month. So with that said, I switched out my daily driver because there's some stuff that I want. We're doing some studio upgrades around here, upgrading the setup. We're going to have some new things, might have some new lights. I don't know. There's a bunch of newness that's probably going to be going on. But the thing that I was really wanting to do was get a card that was going to be beneficial to me, that jives with the way that I navigate and the stuff that I like to do. So what we did was we switched over. I'm going to put this up here. Boom. We're switched over to a Chase Sapphire preferred card, not the Reserve. The Reserve, I don't know how much money I spend a year, so I did not want to do the Reserve if it wasn't going to pay for itself. But they have this bonus deal. It's like $750 in travel. And like, obviously, I'm pretty sure I was doing the math. I've been tracking, which actually this is really weird because it's got me tracking my credit card purchases, because I'm like, I want to hit this, or know that I'm going to hit this. So I tracked this month, and I was like, with the stuff that I'm upgrading in the studio with the setup, I know I'm going to hit it. So it's all going on this card. But some of the reason I did this is because, like, I want to start being able to travel to go to conferences and stuff like that in the crypto space, potentially in the social media space. We'll see. But definitely my goal is to start getting to go to a conference or two every year to kind of get out there and meet some more people, because I'm very active in the crypto community, in the sense that, like, I'm very active in crypto, but like, I do want to go do some of the community stuff, because then you get some heads up, get to make contacts, meet people, good networking, trying to get better at networking. I'm really good at, I'm not going to say I'm really good, but I'm pretty good at networking on YouTube. I got a good, strong network there. And this'll incentivize me to actually do that as I'm buying stuff and doing what I normally do throughout the year. I get rewarded for it and get to do this stuff. So they give you, obviously, on this one, it's a lower tier. They give you a $50 annual Ultimate Rewards hotel credit, which is cool. 5x points on travel purchased through Chase, which I looked through their service, their back-end service thing. Prices are comparable, so it's not like you're paying extra or anything, which is cool. 2x points on all other travel purchases, which is fine. 3x points on online grocery purchases. So one of the benefits that they gave on this card was you get I think it's 6 months of Instacart for free, which is cool. So I started using Instacart because it's free. And I found out how convenient it is to use Instacart. And it's a game changer. Like it's really awesome. It's cut down the amount of travel time, so I'm saving fuel. It's cut down on time because like now I literally have one thing that I have to go get that's not on Instacart, and everything else I can get through Instacart, and someone brings it to my door, and I can work on content. It's helped with my content. Like you guys have noticed, more content's getting pumped out. I have time to that, like part of my day off. I have time to do that. I've got some other business ventures that I'm looking at getting into that I will now also have time to do. It's been something definitively different. Now, I also have DoorDash. It gives me DoorDash for, I think it's like a credit rebate or something like that. And yeah, I haven't used it yet. Like I'm not big on, I don't like people handling my food. I don't know. I feel like I've used it, but every time I've used a DoorDash, it's been because I was sick. And I don't get sick that often. So like the last time I used DoorDash was when I had COVID. And it was cool, but I was still like, or if I get in a situation where I legitimately don't have time, and I have DoorDashed Hawaiian Bros a couple of times. So I guess I have used it. It gives you 25% more points, 25% more value on travel. When you use them through the Chase portal, obviously they have their own back end where they have their partnerships or whatever. I have no problem using that. I'll follow up on this when I book my first trip. That's not a road trip, because like going on a road trip over the 4th of July. So that's going to be interesting. Also, house sitting. I will be house sitting, so the view might be a little bit different for the episode next week, because I'm going to be in a different spot, and it's going to be a little bit nicer than most of the spots that most of these people in these YouTube streets are in, because it's a legitimately nice house. So there's going to be that. No flexing. It's not my house. I'll let everybody know this week I'm house sitting next week. So when you see me on the panels, it's because I'm house sitting. It's not going to be a flex. It's just going to be the location that I'm at. I'm probably going to have to figure out something to get set up over there. I mean, it's not too hard. Most of my studio is portable, so setting up over there. But yeah, I'll be house sitting, so it's going to be interesting to have some different views next week. 3x points on select streaming services. Definitely switch those over, because I do have a few streaming services that qualified that I don't actually use that often, but they're on there for when I do use them. I do binge stuff over the weekend. It's just kind of, it's starting to become hard to justify my streaming services, because I only use them like 2 days a week. Really. I'm going to have to start looking. I was like, Netflix raised them prices one more time. It's over. Like, I'll figure it out. 1 point per dollar spent on all other purchases, which is cool. Like, that's fine, because I'm using this card for everything. And I understand that like a lot of the credit card hackers, I'm not good at it. I don't have the bandwidth or time to dive down the rabbit hole for that, unfortunately, because like the cards that I have are like basic, not cool cards. Like my favorite card before this and my daily driver before this was my Citibank card, and I'll be using that heavily for the acquiring assets with the loans. So I needed a different card because I wanted to have those 0% because Citibank be throwing money at me anyway, which is why I went with them. That, and they have the tiered system that kind of gamifies the private banking. And I'm a gamer by heart and nature, so I respect it. I like what they did, and I was like, I can get with this. Plus, you guys throw me money all the time, so absolutely. Like, I'm, as far as big banks go, I'm on Team City. Chase Sapphire, though, this travel card, definitely going to get me in the door. I mean, I might actually be able to open a checking account there. They like wouldn't let me open a checking account there. They're like, even though they finally brought them to the city. Now, if I ever need to switch out my local bank, if Community America jacks up, then I might be opening an account over at Chase just to have something here local. But the Citibank is awesome. They got the travel protection. They got a bunch of interesting stuff. 5x points on Lyft. Never use that. Yeah, the DoorDash Pass subscription, a membership for both DoorDash and Caviar, which unlocks 0 delivery fees. Yeah. Yes. A minimum of 1 year. So I have that. The Instacart benefit. GoPuff. I downloaded that. Haven't used it yet. It's a $95 annual fee, which I know I'll clear because every other card I've ever had, I've always gotten back well over $100 every year. So that one I wasn't worried about. And then you can transfer the points. There's all sorts of stuff. So I'm constantly kind of doing a little bit of research. But as far as a daily driver, I'm like, cool, rack up points, get at least one trip out of it a year. That means I'm only paying for one of those conference trips a year, and then I get points on top of that. The only caveat is I waited to open this account until I had some large purchases. I'm not going out of my way to spend the money to get these points. Like, I have X amount that I spend, and I'm pretty much there. But when I looked and I was like, oh, there's stuff I can upgrade. I can do this. I can move like this and get this. I was like, cool. If I'm getting all this stuff anyway, then it makes sense to pull the trigger on this card. Otherwise, I might have had to switch back over to my Discover as a daily driver. I don't know. But Discover also throws me money, so I don't know that I want to do that either. But that's the reason. That's the logic behind it. Also, it's a nice card. It's a nice card. It's a metal card. I like it. It jives nicely with my my Cash App card because I have the metal card for that too. I like metal cards. They're nice. They feel prestigious. Ego makes me feel good. Okay. But again, credit's a tool, and we utilizing all the tools. So we got to end this on a good note. But I want to know, y'all hit me up in the chat. Did y'all buy more house than what you needed? And have you not been paying your student debt? I need to know. I need to know these things because we got to make sure the dogs is on point. Like, if I need to have a talk with you, we got to get this worked out. We got to have our finances in order because stuff's about to get a little bit weird. I think. I don't necessarily think it's going to get weird for me. Like, I put it out there in the ether that I was ready to get on the grind, and I had already got like 2 opportunities thrown my way, and I'm probably going to execute on both of them because why not? I ain't got nothing else to do. And we're going to get this money. We're going to run the numbers up. We're going to figure out what we need to do, what we need to get done, always looking for opportunities. And yeah, when it's time to grind, you got to put your nose down and grind. So it's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you guys are doing. Are you guys in this news story? I hope not, because we execute 80% of the time, and this is definitely catching an L. And then I'm definitely hoping that you guys are in this news story, because this credit card study of debt, the debt study, I'm liking these numbers. I like it that people are pulling back. We gotta get financially responsible. There's too many people out here talking finance for people to not be getting hit from somewhere talking about, hey, bro, you ain't supposed to be out here walking around with like 10 grand in debt with no purpose, just like Gucci belts and a lifestyle that you can't afford. So I'm hoping everybody has been a part of this story versus the other one, because we're trying to win around here. And make sure you share the video, because we're not trying to win by ourselves. It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we're getting out of here. So let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. I pull up.